Yeah,
That's good.
we are live on Twitter and we are live on YouTube with Aaron, Cito, and Sistla from the Cosmos ecosystem, right? Hi everyone, my name is Thi, and we're talking about the Cosmos ecosystem. I know nothing about the Cosmos ecosystem, and these guys are living and breathing the ecosystem for the longest time, right? And yeah, so I'm just gonna quickly send you guys link to uh, where it is live, so you can retweet it. Yeah, we already have a viewer and we already have one retweet. Pretty cool.
Awesome.
Awesome,
We're gonna
awesome,
make
awesome.
it.
Tag me, guys. Awesome, guys. We have 10 people live. Awesome. Hello, everyone. Whoever is watching. Uh, I don't know anything about Cosmos, and we have Aaron, Sito, and Sisla with us to teach me a little bit about Cosmos. Quick introduction. I know Sisla for uh, like couple of years now. He's been like even before Omniflex was launched. He told me all the concept and all the great stuff they're doing for this like researching this podcast. Like I watched a lot of Sito's content. He's like the OG content creator in the Cosmos ecosystem, and I think Osmosis is like one of the earliest project which like I think like I watching older videos, reading all the older articles, everyone is mentioning Osmosis, right? Like, so shout out to David. Thank you from Serotonin. He connected us. So that is what like this is. I'm Dheeraj. You guys don't know me. I make a lot of content on NFTs, gaming, and like just education in the Ethereum ecosystem. I have no clue about Cosmos. So let's go, guys. What is the difference between Ethereum as a blockchain and Cosmos as a blockchain? We have 60 viewers live. If you're watching, comment something so we know you're just not here for Aaron's biceps. So yeah.
I have just one question to you actually before we start, because you
Let's
said
go.
you watch a lot of my stuff, and like I'm just curious,
Yes.
like from 1 to 10, like how understandable do you think my content was for somebody that's not as deep in Cosmos? How much do you
It,
think?
it is understandable because I consume a lot of technical content as well.
Yeah,
So it's easy, right? Like if like so if it's a content like hey, 6 airdrops you can farm, I think that's a 10, right? But if it is like a hey, this new proposal, uh, then
yeah,
it could be like a 7 and 8, right? And but it depends, right? Like how much context do you already have? So that's
right.
how like how I would say it, right? Like it's pretty easy to consume.
Okay, that's
We
good
should
to know.
like kick off with clarifying your question, right? So you specifically asked what's the difference between the Ethereum blockchain and the Cosmos blockchain. There is no Cosmos blockchain, right?
Yeah,
There's a Cosmos Hub blockchain. There is a
Correct.
Cosmos tech stack, but there is no Cosmos blockchain, right?
Got it. So what does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me like, put it like, yeah,
Tesla, go ahead.
probably. Okay. I'll put it like this. There's a fundamental difference between the Cosmos ecosystem, the Cosmos Hub, the blockchain, and the Cosmos SDK. The Cosmos ecosystem is a combination, is what we collectively refer to as all the chains that support the IBC protocol, right, in some sense, and are built with the Cosmos SDK stack. So that is the definition of the Cosmos ecosystem. So Dheeraj, like, can we share a screen right away, or
Go for it. Go
maybe
for
a
it.
bit later?
Go for it. Go
Okay,
for it.
so let me quickly share a visualization. I'm sure Sito and Aaron know what I'm talking about, but this is primarily how you represent Cosmos as an ecosystem, right? So shout out to Map of Zones that came up with this visualization, right in the early days when there were not many chains. Right now, you see 86 zones or chains, that are connected right here are being visualized, and all of these little things that you see moving right? Like these are data packets that are being sent across from one blockchain to another. Here, right here, you can see all the blockchains, Osmosis, Neutron, of course, Celestia, Cosmos Hub. So in this context, we understand that this is the Cosmos ecosystem, and the Cosmos Hub, which is one blockchain, is the token on which Atom is issued, or is the blockchain on which Atom the token is issued. So that was what Aaron meant by, there is no, it's not like one blockchain, whereas Ethereum is like one blockchain. Of course, we understand the network effects of EVM and, all the L2s utilizing the mainnet or Ethereum main chain. But here it is, connected set of blockchains, which is what we refer to as the ecosystem. Whereas the Cosmos Hub blockchain has the Atom token on it, right? And is interoperable with all these other networks. And Cosmos SDK is the software development kit that is used to build all of this infrastructure. So, that is something that I quickly wanted to share.
Yeah, I think it's like important to, add on top of that. What does this actually mean? Like, what is the Cosmos ecosystem? Well, and why is there so much hype around? Why is there so much excitement? Why do people opt in to use it? It's because the Cosmos ecosystem is inherently built up with this like ability to interoperate with every single other blockchain within the same ecosystem. So it's like there's IBC, the Inter Blockchain Communication Protocol. What does this like long term mean? Basically, think of like shipping ports in around the world. You have San Francisco and you have Shanghai, and how do they communicate with each other? Well, they have the same shipping standard, right? These metal boxes, they're all the same. So you don't have to speak Chinese to go communicate with Shanghai. You just need to speak metal boxes and ship to Shanghai, or vice versa, right? So you don't actually have these barriers, all these differences on these blockchains individually. It doesn't matter because you can actually still communicate through the same communication standard. And this is why it's so interoperable. Everything's so seamless. Everything works together as well.
Awesome. Like, why are projects choosing to build on Cosmos? Like, what's the differentiator?
I think most of them just like the aspect of sovereignty and customizability. I think that's like two big reasons why a lot of people choose to build in Cosmos. And yeah, like Aaron Sistla was saying, Cosmos as an ecosystem, it really is this internet of blockchains. That was initially what got me hooked about the ecosystem, is the strong focus on interoperability, which means to build a seamlessly connected ecosystem of sovereign layer 1 blockchains, right? And the base assumption is also this whole app chain thesis. So what you saw, for example, with DYDX, I don't know like the whole like insights and everything in depth, but what they were saying is basically that for decentralization and kind of to make the perfect product that they have in mind, they need full customizability, and they also want to fully decentralize, which is why they chose to basically migrate. First, they launched on Ethereum, then on an Ethereum L2, and then they fully migrated away to build their own Cosmos app chain. And actually, I read today a tweet from Antonio, the founder, saying that the Cosmos chain now surpassed the Ethereum application in terms of volume. So, it is gaining traction. I think also overall, maybe from a user's perspective, this is also one thing, like how I got onboarded from a user's perspective 3.5 years ago or 3 years ago, was because in Ethereum, like you just get priced out. It's so expensive. There's not really much you can do. Everything costs just so much, right? And on Cosmos, the origins of Tendermint, the proof of stake consensus algorithm, which is also something I think most people underestimate and underrate about Cosmos, dates back to 2014. Like this is an OG proof of stake ecosystem, right? One of the first ones to pioneer that. So while Cosmos, I will say that while Cosmos is far from being complete and perfect, and it has its flaws, there are a lot of drama in governance, I think it's one of the most complete ecosystems in crypto because of that aspect of performance, speed, interoperability, now also a lot of liquidity. There's a lot of stuff you can do. There's a lot of different communities. And I think, yeah, that's why, a lot of people choose to build in Cosmos, I would say.
Cool. That's great. From what I understand is what is happening on Ethereum is there is one chain which which is the ETH mainnet, which is like the holy grail, and you can build on top of it, right? Like roll ups, L2s, side chains, with whatever technology. Yeah, we are recording this session. It will be live on YouTube. Do not worry. Sorry. So that is Ethereum. People are using Ethereum security and building on top of it, and all the other layers become execution layers, or everything like that, right? Like that's why we have all these Arbitrum, Optimism, roll-ups. But with Cosmos, it's pretty different, right? Like you are using Cosmos, and you're creating your own chain, right? So with mainly like ETH stakers are securing the entire network, but with Cosmos it's a little bit different, right? Like you can validate you like by staking your atom or running a validator node. But if I need to r- contribute to, let's say, Osmosis or DYDX, I have to like run another validator node to secure that network, right? Like, so what is happening? What is this tech?
Well, for now, we do have something coming out pretty soon here. It's pretty much in its final form here, maybe like 1 to 3 months out. Mesh security. So you won't actually have to validate other networks to plug into these other networks and help secure them. You just have to validate, let's say you're on Juno and and the Juno community wants to mesh over to Osmosis. This can be done maybe like a 5% little mesh over.
Interesting.
That might have been
Yeah.
confusing. Maybe I should have touched a little more on mesh security. Cito, maybe you want to do that.
Yeah, I think like mesh security is one like innovation made in Cosmos, where basically chains can secure each other. The Cosmos Hub also has a form of shared security where you can launch consumer chains. It works like philosophically probably similar to how Polkadot works, where you have like one chain and then you have these para chains, or in Cosmos they're called consumer chain on the Cosmos Hub. But you also have a lot of different app chains, right? You have like app chains that are maybe like Stride, for example, right? Stride is an app chain for liquid staking, right? So that's a clear use case for one specific product, right? You have Noble, which is an app chain for native asset issuance. USDC by Circle is kind of the biggest asset there with $80 million on it. So this is like specific app chains that originally launched with their own validator set to secure this chain, right? But what you also see sometimes is that you just have the same validators on all these other Cosmos chains that are just validating on all these chains anyways, right? So now we're entering, I think, this next phase where you have more innovation around shared security, mesh security, interchain security. Also, Celestia can do some sort of shared security. Also, so EigenLayer is building a Cosmos chain basically called Ethos that leverages ETH security. There's Babylon that's coming to leverage Bitcoin security. Like you all have these wild combinations, but I think there isn't really like a set standard of what is the criteria for you to launch an app chain. I think it really depends on kind of the economics around it, the validator size, because when you choose to have your own validator set instead of deploying on a smart contract platform, you have to worry a lot about sustainability, incentivizing validators long enough. I'm sure Omniflex is an app chain, and so is Osmosis with their own set. So yeah, maybe Sistla, you can add more to that.
Yeah, I mean, just to add on top of what Cito said, he rightly said that there are things to take care of when you're taking this decision around creating an app chain or developing an app chain, or instead of deploying a smart contract on, say, Osmosis or Neutron or some of the other chains. So here the thing is that you own your own execution layer, you own your own security, and you own your own the entire execution layer is under control, like you own all of that. Now you can obviously utilize other blockchains utilizing IBC, Axelar's GMP, general message passing, and things like that, to make sure you talk to other blockchains. So whatever execution environment security that you have, it is all just dedicated for your use case, right? And that is why DYDX migrated from being that V3, Ethereum version to, what is an app chain Cosmos version, right? And in 2 months they surpassed their older entire stack, and now have more volume here. So that's their entire execution layer under control, security under control. Now you see Celestia coming up with this model, or let me take the example of rollups on Ethereum, where you'll have to still run validator nodes. That is for a different purpose, and that is not for settlement, because their settlements, they're settling there and posting the proofs on Ethereum, right, the mainnet. So here you don't have to do that, and if you choose, if you want to do that and utilize, say, Celestia and a combination of multiple technologies available to you, right, you can also do that. So I'll say the entire Cosmos thesis is one of the first modular theses that is out there, and it might not have been called modular in its sense, but in theory you're separating out all the layers and connecting them with something like IBC. So that sovereignty as well as that interoperability part is what made Cosmos the ecosystem, right? So yeah.
And one thing to add, maybe, if we go back, May 2022 was obviously one of the biggest events in crypto. Terra collapsed, went to zero overnight, and Terra was the biggest Cosmos chain by far, right? What was it, $30-40 billion in market cap? UST was like 15 or 20 billion, I don't even remember. A lot of liquidity was packed to UST and Luna across the Cosmos ecosystem. So a lot of the liquidity obviously was affected across the Cosmos, but what wasn't affected is the uptime of other chains, right? And it was a huge stress test. Like, it was a big, I mean, back then, I don't think any one of you guys were sleeping, especially the teams and developers. But it was a big stress test. But what it did coming out of that, it kind of has proven that this app chain thesis is actually working, right? And there's huge benefits to it. Because if you have a player, and it can even be like a full-on scam or Ponzi scheme or whatever, that just blows up and gets too big, the rest of the ecosystem doesn't depend on it, right? So I think that was a big proof that Cosmos works and the app chain thesis.
And it's probably good to, like, exactly what you're saying, Cito. Remember the tweet from, like, what is it, 2 days ago, from, what was his name, Adam Cochran or something? He just kind of got shredded apart for his tweet. Basically, kind of, he was saying that the Cosmos stack did not do well, and that Terra had some kind of Terra Nova VM, which was actually just like this make-believe thing that was written somewhere and it actually was never in production. So basically, the Luna, Terra Luna team, they were using the true Cosmos stack, and it performed perfectly with, I don't even know, millions and millions of users, sending transactions. So, anyone that was reading that on Twitter, the clarification is here. That guy was wrong.
It's almost like saying, remember back in the day when CryptoKitties launched on Ethereum and it crashed Ethereum, basically? It's like saying, like, oh, now Ethereum is dead because CryptoKitties has proven that, right? Like, there are some stress tests along the way, but I think Cosmos is coming out of this very, very strong, and it's now much more resilient and robust. And you really see that, right? It's Cosmos season left and right. We have airdrops left and right. Liquidity is flowing back in. Celestia, Sane Network, obviously, those two, like, they attracted really, masses and across the entire crypto community. So it's good times to be in Cosmos.
Awesome. A very basic question, and I think it's like a lot of buzzword as well, right? Like, so, modular blockchain, right? Like, and people is like, that's modular expansion is being like spammed on Twitter. Like, what is that, right? Like, for someone who has no clue what people are talking about.
Cito, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the Celestia narrative and hype, right? Celestia pioneered this concept of modularity, which basically, you remember how Sistla was just saying, like, when you launch an app chain, you basically have control over the execution and settlement layer. It's all in one place, and consensus. What Celestia enables is to fully modularize your chain, so you can combine different tech stacks, right? for example, there's a chain building using Avalanche Snowman for consensus, using data availability from Celestia, being fully IBC compatible in Cosmos, and using the Move VM, the Move virtual machine, but all that while being in Ethereum L2. So I think that's kind of this innovation for modularity, is that you just can pick and choose like what tech stack you want to combine, and that all fits and is customized towards the use case you want to be most performant to. So I think that's at least how I understand it. And that's like, I'm not technical. I mean, I don't know if that's like fully on point, but that's my view of it, my understanding.
There it is. There it is.
This one, this is what Aaron was referencing to.
That's the one. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, awesome.
Shane's comment is pretty much sufficient.
Source, I made it up. Cool. Awesome. So this is good. Guys, there are a bunch of questions which I think I will quickly try to answer before I ask you more noob questions. Is Neutron staking available on Cosmos, is what Shub was asking. And do I have any idea what that means? No.
Well, they don't have staking because Neutron is an atom secured chain. So they don't have their own validator set. But they do have some sort of like governance walls where you can deposit NTRN tokens. I'm not sure right now, though, if that's incentivized. I think the plan was to incentivize that, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, you can check that out on their website, on their application, and see if there's any APR on depositing into those governance walls.
Cool. Another question, is there also any plan to decrease the staking in app chains from 21 days to less number of days? And the
I think it's 21 days for everything.
Sorry?
I don't think 21 days is like across the board, right?
Okay. And unstaking period is 30 days in Cosmos, which is pretty high. Why?
I mean, from my view, it's mostly, due to security reasons. I think when people hear about staking, especially like newer people in crypto, they just want to get yield and make it fast. But actually what you're supposed to do when you're staking is you're securing the chain, right? So that's why there's like unbonding periods, because you want to like lock up and commit to provide security for that chain. And I think it's just a systemic risk that's why there's like these delays. The Cosmos Hub has a feature called the liquid staking module, which you can access through Stride or pStake, which allows you to liquefy your already staked Atom, and then you can have them liquid instantly, right? You don't have to unbond and wait 21 days. You can liquefy instantaneously. That's a feature only available on the Cosmos Hub as of today. I think other chains like Osmosis, I think it's only 14 days, the unbonding. Celestia, I think it's 28. So it really varies. But yeah, if you want to like still get yield, I think, there's a lot of like liquid staking providers now. There's Milky Way on Celestia. You can also just get Milk Tia, I think it's called. So yeah.
Yeah, it's on Osmosis.
It's on Osmosis.
Awesome. So guys, can you quickly tell me about Omniflex, and then also Osmosis and like Cito, what are you doing with all the validator nodes you're running across 45 chain, like different ones? So yeah, I think Aaron, you can go first.
Oh yeah, so essentially Osmosis within the Cosmos ecosystem is viewed as the DeFi hub for the Cosmos ecosystem, and this is essentially where all the trading takes place, where a lot of the users enter from. We have 220 plus thousand monthly active users right now, with just 15 days into the month, or the month is half over. We've already crossed $1 billion in spot volume. So activity has been crazy these past few months. As far as like users that care about stats, staking APR, like native inflation from the chain itself is like, maybe I think it's like 9.5 or 10%, but because there's the taker fees, and this is essentially 0.1% tacked onto all swaps, that flow through Osmosis, the DEX, they get added to the staking APR. So all stakers receive these taker fees. So this is another roughly 4% in protocol revenue. And what can you do on Osmosis? Well, if you just want to come in and make a generic swap, this is the bare basic of DeFi and also the bare basic of Osmosis. You can do that. You can swap over 100 assets. A lot of the blue chips are there, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Celestia, Atom, or a lot of the random, new coins that pop up, meme coins, shit coins, whatever you want, they're there. There are lots of different sorts of like DeFi products, whether this is Levana, perps, you can go 30x on your, leverage on Levana. There's Nolus with DeFi leases. There's Mars credit accounts. There's a CalcFi if you want to DCA into any asset. So there are a lot of fun things. You can go to osmosis.zone. Let's see. Let me find the actual link. app.osmosis.zone/apps if you want to check out all the apps that are available. StreamSwap is one that Sistla is heavily involved in. There's also Membrane. So there are countless apps to explore on Osmosis. But really, it's like if you enter the Cosmos, you want to explore DeFi, this is where you go first.
This is where I go.
I would even add to that. I think Osmosis is also the kind of the IBC hub in Cosmos. I think without Osmosis, Cosmos as an ecosystem and IBC as a technology would not be where it is today. Like when they launched, they were the first ones to really take IBC to market back in June 19th. That's why it's my birthday. So the Osmosis Genesis is also my birthday. That's why it's easy to remember. That's when they took IBC to market, and like Aaron was saying, you said like almost $1 billion already. That's crazy. And like monthly volume.
And this is spot volume. So it's like completely different from perps where, you can like DYDX doing $1 billion a day. And this is not the same. Like, the volume is not 1-to-1.
Interesting. Sistla?
Yeah, I'll quickly go next. So Omniflex is the industry and media hub, I should say. We have been working within the Cosmos system since around 2018, exploring various things. And Omniflex, was called FreeFlix earlier, and then with an obvious rebrand, in 2021, launched the testnets. In 2022, the mainnet, the Genesis block, and the blockchain itself. And in 2023, using StreamSwap, the Flix token. And late last year, we also launched what is Omniflex TV, which is primarily the media tech that is powering the publishing of interactive videos. And in about 3 months, we've had over 100K interactions, within these interactive videos. I'll, maybe again show you what that means. And then, as you can see on the screen, we have a suite of apps that, all enable creators to do what they do best without actually having to write a line of code within the ecosystem. So in 2021, like we had an open source staking interface, staking application, when we've also had, quite a few, interfaces around the marketplace. Multiple people fork the staking interface, deployments, and we turned out to be, where we are within the ecosystem, after all these years. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. So next live stream, hopefully we'll be able to do it on Omniflex someday. So looking forward to that. Cito, what do you do? What do you do in the ecosystem?
Yeah, it's a good question. I got into it quite random and organically. I was just starting my YouTube channel back in 2020. And then I had some Atom in my wallet. I didn't know why and when I bought them. So I made a tweet and I asked, like, can somebody explain me what Cosmos is? And Jack Sempolin then responded to that tweet. And he's like, yo, let's get on a call. I can walk you through IBC. We're about to launch this in a couple of months. So he took the time, walked me through, and I was really hooked by that idea. So that's how I got into it. And then, I started with my channel to interview everyone in the space, right? Sunny was on the channel, Zaki, like all these like core contributors that have been around for many years. even Ethan Buckman, one of the two co-founders, and Jay Kwon, kind of the main co-founder and inventor of Tendermint. So I interviewed all these people. Sistla was on there. I think Aaron. We also did some kind of Osmosis parties back in the day. So yeah, I just interviewed all these people in the space, and then I also started to run a validator in April of 2021 with two other co-founders of mine, which now became pretty successful. I would say after 2.5 years, we're now in 36 or 37 chains on mainnet, many more to come. And then also Cosmoverse, which is also kind of my baby. I really love Cosmoverse. It's the annual conference in the Cosmos ecosystem, and I think that the common ground of what I do is just connect people and onboard them into Cosmos. And yeah, that's what I'm really passionate about. So we do a lot of events. I do a lot of content, and yeah, that's what I do.
Awesome. So that's pretty cool. Guys, like you spoke a lot about IBC, right? Like a small explainer, if anyone of you can give me.
You go ahead.
I'm not very technical, but what I said earlier is essentially IBC is something that's kind of natively baked in with the ability to be turned on. So like Binance could turn on IBC if they wanted to. They choose not to because they want to sort of keep their users in the ecosystem, probably not from leaving. But all the chains plugged in right now, as you see on the Map of Zones website that we pulled up, allows you to interoperate with all these other chains. So essentially, this is why Noble USDC was so valuable for Cosmos ecosystem, because even though it's issued on Noble, it is still native across the entire Cosmos ecosystem and every other blockchain, because it's all using the underlying IBC. So this is the same thing for WBTC that is actually live and native on Osmosis now as of a few days ago. A larger amount hasn't been minted yet, but the test transactions went through, and they're all public, of course. So every single chain across the Cosmos can use native WBTC soon going forward, because this is natively issued on Osmosis. So essentially, it just doesn't matter where this token is issued from, because it is all native throughout the entire Cosmos, and it's seamless, it's fast, it's almost instant, and it's cheap. This is like less than pennies versus $7 to $40, whatever things are costing on Ethereum nowadays, especially during high congestion periods. So IBC essentially just removes barriers from everything. And like another fun example is like you take Legos. If you buy like a Star Wars set, you're gonna go build a Millennium Falcon. But if you go buy like a ninja set, you're gonna go build a little ninja village. The thing is, these Lego pieces can be used on both sets. They're all the same Lego pieces. They all have the same standard. And the standard is like apparently so efficient. It's like to the micro, the atomic level is how precise these building blocks are. So think of everything in the Cosmos as Lego blocks, and just because you're on one chain doesn't mean you can't easily and seamlessly plug over to another chain.
Awesome. So everyone who's joining in, thank you. We are doing like a small Cosmos, what is Cosmos explainer with Aaron Cito Sistla, and like just want to welcome you guys and thank you guys. Just gonna display. So have you guys, like, this NFT project I've seen all over my Twitter, right? Like those badly drawn kids. Like anyone can tell me what all that is, and like how's the NFT ecosystem in Cosmos?
Yeah, I mean, I can take this one. So
Yeah.
the NFT ecosystem in the Cosmos is primarily, so as Osmosis is a liquidity hub. That is where most of the DeFi activity happens. There are a few chains where most of the NFT activity happens. One is Stargaze, one is Omniflex. There are other chains as well, like Juno Archway, and now more chains are coming up as well with the NFT activity in place. Passage is another chain. They're building their metaverse world, and they also have NFTs. So that is how the NFT app chains are structured independently at this point in time. And just recently, a few weeks back, it went live on Stargaze, uh, interchain NFTs. The concept around fungible tokens moving to other app chains is primarily being used in IBC. But what if you use IBC to transfer NFTs across chains, right? So that is the concept around interchain NFTs, and that will be going live, on Omniflex the next week, and multiple networks will continue to support that. And yeah, we have a very big Chinese ecosystem in the form of Iris Network, and they're pretty involved in that regional NFT that are used for community building as badges, for sale and so on and so forth as well. And multiple such app chains come together to support the standard. So here, what you see, what you just asked for, bad kids, they're issued on Stargaze. But of course, going there, yeah, the profile pic of the commenter, Florian, they're issued on Stargaze, but you should also be able to move them around within the Cosmos ecosystem, like how you move around fungible tokens from, say, Omniflex to Osmosis and beyond.
What's the point of moving them around? Like, what's the rationale?
Yeah, like you have access to all of this infrastructure. Let's just say you have DYDX, which is a PUBS protocol that has been, that has specific infrastructure around that. And then you have, say, UMI or Nolus around lending, right? Now, why do you move your fungible token there, right? To take advantage of all the infra that's available there in that ecosystem. Just like that, if you're moving an NFT from, say, one ecosystem to another, you're making sure you take advantage of all that's available to you. And similarly, there'll be, imagine NFT restaking in that sense. I mean, I'm not going down the rabbit hole, but you can, have those pegged assets, and you can like stake your NFT on the issue, like source platform. And then once you stake, a representative NFT is issued, on various other platforms, and this can be used for something else and so on and so forth. So quite a lot of possibilities there. And we are not even like talking about NFTs in the context of DeFi, which is a whole new ballgame, and that is completely different from what we're talking about. Yeah.
Awesome. That's cool. Cito, I think you gave me a little bit about what you have been doing. A lot of these projects are doing airdrops, and I think Celestia has been like the talk of the town, right? Um, what is the rationale? What are you looking at? What are some interesting projects which are being built right now, and how does it work, right? Like, because I saw if you were validating if you were staking or validating Cosmos, you got something. If you're validating Celestia, a lot of people are staking it in, right? Like now, a lot of people are going to different protocols like Injective and whatnot, and people are coming in, locking in liquidity in hopes of airdrops. Like, what are the trends you are seeing?
Yeah, I mean, we had an airdrop season in Cosmos in 2022 that was actually quite big, and I think most people missed out on it. And I think back then it was mostly, stake at least 10 or 11 Atom, and you get this new coin, this new app chain that launched. And that's kind of the initial user base that originated out of the Atom community, right? I would even say up until TIA. TIA also gave out an airdrop to Atom stakers, but then TIA also gave out an airdrop to contributors, to developers, to people that are active on GitHub, right? And actually contribute code and researchers, and then also to other communities. I think what we're seeing moving forward is we're going to see kind of more airdrop hubs in that sense. I still think Atom is going to be relevant, but I also think TIA is going to be hyper relevant, because a lot of these rollups that are launching using Celestia, they're going to airdrop their token to TIA stakers. But yeah, so what we're seeing right now, and that's kind of also the thesis for some people that say why TIA keeps pumping, is because there's now a lot of this airdrop hype around it, right? But yeah, that can be great to bootstrap the initial user base and awareness. But yeah, I think at some point also it kind of dilutes the value of the airdrop, right? And if you have 10,000 people competing for an airdrop, or a million, right, you get 100 times less than if it were less people participating, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think in general, just stay active in the ecosystem, use test nets, try out stuff. Don't overdo it. I also see people literally setting up 200 wallets, trying to farm everything. But yeah, I would say just be active, use applications early, use test nets, stake natively, don't delegate to centralized exchange validators, don't delegate to top 10 or top 20 even validators, and just diversify, right? Contributing to decentralization, I think that's really what some of these teams really value and give airdrops to. So
and you guys are validators as well, right? Like, so would you like to plug in and say, yo,
of course.
stay here with
I
me?
mean, yeah, of course. And we're seeing that a lot, because of course, as a content creator, if I make a tutorial about airdrops in Cosmos and Celestia, like there's a huge influx of people that start delegating, because we're also outside of the top 20 for most of the chains, except for Osmosis, we're actually top 10. But yeah, it's, and we've literally seen it. Like, I think airdrops are kind of a meme sometimes, but at the same time, it can actually be life-changing, right? For some people, if you have 2 or 3 wallets and you make 3, 4, or 5K per wallet, like that's insane, right? That's crazy. So yeah, I think we still have a decent airdrop season ahead of us, to be honest.
Yeah. So I have a very important question for Aaron. Aaron, how much did you get in Celestia airdrop? Tell us.
Say pretty close to zero, because I'm not a developer, so
You're not watching my
so,
videos.
the thing is, like, I'm not a developer, so I have no PRs to Osmosis, and like the majority of everything I have is like locked up. So it's like I'm like telling everyone, like, hey, like go check if you actually are qualified, and don't forget it. But me, I'm just a cheerleader for Celestia now. I have no skin in the game.
So, but did Cito or Sistla, did you guys get the airdrop?
Yeah, I got the airdrop. It was nice.
Awesome.
But
Just
not,
look at the smiles on both of their faces and look at me and Aaron.
I will say, like, when Tia launched and I saw my airdrop and was like, this is great. And I know a lot of people when they got it and Tia was at $2, they sold it because $2 was a $2 billion valuation, right? And I actually held on. I staked most of it right away because I knew, like, this is long term. I've known the team for like 2.5 years at that point. I interviewed them first on my channel in November 2021. So I was like kept track of the project. I knew this is big and everything. And now it's at $20, like a 10x later.
Wow.
So it's crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
So
and you didn't have to do much. Like, you just had to keep it, right? Like,
yeah.
Awesome.
Diamond hands.
Mahov, like, I think Aaron, as we're speaking, he's setting up 4 wallets. And
I did get like the pith ones and the dimension ones, so I've got my bad kid ones.
He's like, hey, Cito, can you help me set up 4 wallets, right? Like, can I get that airdrop as well? So Mahov says first time TR rewarded the IBC relayers. It was so valuable because relayers are the backbones of IBC. What does this mean?
Yeah, I mean, this technically means that the airdrop was done right. Now, what happens usually is, there are a lot of these farms farming for drops, and that in general like spoils the way in which the community is bootstrapped. Now, what Celestia did, and a lot of other projects are following suit as well, are I'm sure Bankless started talking about this multi-chain narrative around airdrops like right now, but like that already existed in the Cosmos ecosystem since ages, right? You're by default doing a drop across multiple chains, multiple ecosystems, right? Maybe for Osmos stakers, maybe for Atom stakers, maybe for someone that utilized or voted on a proposal in some way, right? So all of those things are ways in which you can technically like incentivize, of course, people participating on testnets and so on and so forth. In this context, what Mahaf meant was IBC relays are nodes, like how you have validators, relayers are nodes that utilize, that utilize their infrastructure to move packets from one chain to another chain. So that is why they are a relayer. They're relaying packets from one chain to another chain, and that is the backbone of IBC. Like that, those infrastructure node hosts, they power the entire IBC ecosystem. And unfortunately, of course, there is an AIP. There are a lot of things that are coming up for incentivizing relayers or people running those nodes. But at this point in time, that doesn't exist, and relayers heavily depend on incentives external to them, their node hosts or their node, which means that they can't collect a fee or anything, but they can always like take a grant, take a delegation from the foundation and things like that to sustain relayer operations. But if this would have been self-sustainable, things would have been different. So in this context, when MOF meant that IBC relayers are valuable, and Celestia for the first time rewarded them, this means that they got their community, they got their base that they built, right. And that is also one of the reasons probably why you might have like a few sell-offs. But people that actually receive the drop, they're already convicted. Sorry, they have a high conviction, right? And they have a high conviction, and they're already involved in the space, so they see the potential in the project. Yeah.
Hey, that's good to hear. So guys, like I would love to try out your apps, and maybe like even stake some money with like one of you, like your nodes as well. So I have made my wallet. Okay, I have a ETH wallet. I have some money, hopefully, even though I didn't get any airdrop, just like Aaron. I will use whatever money I had, and I want to try Osmosis. I want to try putting in some money on a validator, and like if I can interact with Omniflex as well, like that would be cool. Like, so what do I do, right? Like, let me just share my
Yeah, where so
screen.
you're coming from Ethereum, right?
I'll come from in, let's say, L2, right? Like from a Polygon or Optimism or
What if
whatever.
what if we use CCTP.money and you transfer from Ethereum to
Yeah.
to Noble or Osmosis?
Um,
Actually, yeah, you can do that. If you have a Osmosis, do you have an Osmosis wallet yet?
yes, I got one. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got
Go
one.
to
Directly to Osmosis is better.
CCTP.money. Yeah, this is the easiest way. If you have like, I don't know, what does it cost? Like,
Can someone can someone type it
type
if
it.
that's possible?
Yeah,
Yeah.
CCTP.money. I believe they take 10
CCTV.
bips up to $5 max.
Got it. That's fine.
I can send you the. You can invoice me for whatever the fees are.
What can I invoice you for? Is it the like gas fee or like the whole transaction? That way I can.
I mean, how much are you sending? If you send under $5, I got you covered.
Oh,
So click Ethereum, yeah, and then go to.
yeah. Let me. Should I do Noble?
You
Just
can
do
do Osmosis.
Osmosis.
Awesome. Yeah. So of course, what a dumb question. My bad. Yeah. Max. All right. Let me connect.
And just try like $5 or $10 first and see how it goes.
All right, man.
I've honestly never used this myself. I just know it works, or I know that it should work.
I hope so. I hope so.
I mean, I've just never like left the ecosystem, so I've like never had to
Yeah,
use it.
makes sense. Makes sense. Polygon, bruh. Why? I don't know why I'm on the main.
Yeah, connect your Kepler wallet as well.
Yes, I'll do
I
that.
think.
Just give me a second.
Yeah. Show us your bags.
I have no bags. I have bags staked somewhere. Okay. Can I? It's just USDC, right? Like, let me just quickly swap. Let me just quickly get some USDC. I don't have USDC. Cool. Guys, what we're doing is we're trying to get some money in the Osmosis ecosystem, right? And let's see, bruh, why this no work? Yeah. Okay, I'll just gets $40.
Yeah, actually, I think if you use Squid, you don't even have to get USDC. You can
Okay.
directly utilize a Matic or something
Yeah,
to
let's
swap.
try both. Let's try both, right? Like now I got USDC, and yeah, it
Yes.
shows USDC. Let me like get some USDC. This is also auto-filled because I connected the wallet as well, right? Unsupported route.
Maybe it has to come from Ethereum,
No, it
or
has
like
to come
try
from Noble.
Noble.
Yeah,
Try
yeah, yeah.
Noble.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it has to come from Noble.
Yeah, sounds like Noble needs to step their game up.
Or they're just like trying to lock people in Noble. You never know.
Nah, I mean that would be like it would just route through. What they would do is just route it through Noble to Osmosis for the user.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's quite
So
easy,
there's
but yeah.
there's something called PFM, packet forward middleware. I mean, for the nerds
Mhm.
out there, that
Yeah,
utilizes this routing to directly like move fungible tokens across. Yeah.
cool. Let me quickly try this one also.
Yeah,
Uh,
Squid's a really great team too.
yeah. So I have, let's say, Matic.
Mac, yeah.
Yeah, and let me get Osmos Hub.
Yeah. Can you
And
try? Can you
yeah,
try
yeah, tell me.
Osmosis instead of Cosmos
Oh,
Hub? You
is
can
there?
try.
Can I directly send to Osmos?
Yeah,
Also, yeah, I
Osmosis.
can. Osmosis. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I can.
Mm.
Okay. Do I do Osmo or do I
Yeah,
do
do it in Osmo so that
Osmo?
you can see
Cool.
that the swap also happens. So it's not just
Cool.
like Matic to Matic, but
Yeah.
you can also like have that swap covered.
Cool, cool, cool. I'll do that. Let's just quickly check it out. Connect wallet, MetaMask, Travi. Guys, this is the experience which most of your users are gonna get, right? Like who are trying to migrate. So,
Yep.
yep. Okay, not bad.
Yeah.
Fees are also not bad.
Yeah. Once you get over to Cosmos, fees are essentially like not relevant unless it's like a high congestion period and then like EIP 1559 kicks in and then fees go up. But this is like generally not common.
Got it. So this is gonna take 6 minutes, and this one is gonna take 8 minutes. I think we'll have to spend some.
Now
We'll
let's go
have
to
to read
Osmo.
comments. We'll have to read comments,
Yeah, go for it.
right?
Go for it.
Gas fees UX on Cosmos so terrible.
I don't know why they say that because gas fees on Cosmos are pretty amazing, better probably than anywhere else. You can pay, especially on Osmosis, you can pay your fees in any token on Osmosis. You don't need Osmo the token. You can use anything, and then other chains can even plug in fee abstraction and pay with anything as well. So it's actually like probably it's the cheapest and best out there in my opinion.
Mm-mm.
Maybe others
Yeah,
don't
maybe.
encounter this problem because they don't have the interoperability and like the connections that Cosmos has. So, like maybe the Cosmos is connected to 100 different chains, and maybe the UX is like it's pretty good. Maybe it's like an 8 out of 10, but they're comparing to something that has no connections with, and their experience is maybe also an 8 out of 10 or something. So,
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I think
But, oh,
why people complain mostly is because in most cases at least, you need a native coin as gas to pay for transactions, and you just want to move around like manually with IBC. It actually is a hassle, I think, for some people, because then if you don't have gas, you need to bail yourself out from another wallet or whatever. But yeah, I think Osmosis can do all, like, Atom, at least Osmo, right? Or which tokens can you use for gas?
You can use anything on Osmosis, literally anything, and also other chains can plug in fee abstraction. And once if they choose to use this, then you can do the same thing on every other chain as well.
Yeah.
And this is like I think Grants, did this, and like the Notional team built out fee abstraction.
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, I mean,
you had
I think this is this. Yeah, just one more thing. Like this has been like a bit of a discussion, like lately also, and like I think forever basically. Is like what's the like? Can we just decide on one token to be the gas token across the entire Cosmos? I think everyone was always trying
we discussed it to be Atom, right?
To make this Atom, but then also like it never kind of happens. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think someone just needs to like put it back up for a proposal, right? Like I think like even Osmosis, we support this because like if they use fee abstraction and Atom is used everywhere, this is like not a bad thing for Osmosis. This is a good thing as well. So it's like a win-win everywhere, and then everyone has that common denominator.
And Atom has a use case.
One day.
So currently,
sorry.
The consumer chains are using. Yeah, sorry. Question, right? Like consumer chains are using their own token as gas fees, or they can use any token, or they can use Atom as well.
I think they're using their own. No, let me. That's a good question. Top of my head, I don't know.
Yeah, they're using their own token, and they can also use Atom. So any chain can use Atom. Like any chain can use any chain, any token as the gas token. It's just that how it is routed and how you get that. Like for example, on Osmosis, because there's a lot of like spot trading and things like that happening, you have all the tokens coming down to Osmosis, and it's a clear advantage for Osmosis to enable all of those as gas tokens, because you might have one token or the other on Osmosis, like the blockchain, and you might not have Osmo the token, or you might not have Atom the token, right? But you'll have something else. So that is the use case. There is a clear winner. Maybe for other chains, right? Only enabling Atom or Osmo or their own native token might make more sense, than enabling every token possible, right? So yeah, that is, that exists. Like the opportunity exists, but not all the chains utilize, all this infra, and like account abstraction, or how Biconomy enables like a relayer. There's a fee setup, and they fund the account and things like that. There has been like account abstraction introduced within the ecosystem in 2021 itself, the fee grant and the Odsy modules, where I can delegate a certain action to you, right, your account, and you can take that on behalf of me, right? I can pay your gas fees and things like that. So dApps, ecosystems have, including the Omniflex ecosystem, has bootstrapped like this without the need to launch a token right away, right? So yeah.
Cool. As okay, Sistla, if possible, can you share the map again? And like, let's just talk about your guys' favorite things, favorite apps until my money is being transferred onto Osmosis. And
I have to hop in 2 minutes. By the way, I have to. We're looking to hire some new people. I'm conducting some interviews right now.
Awesome. So do you want to go and tell like a little bit about like what is interesting in the ecosystem, what apps are interesting to you, and
yeah,
secret?
definitely. I think Secret's doing something. Secret's been around for a while. They're essentially OGs. Their team is like just very respectable. They ship fast. They do things pretty well. They work under the radar. I like what they're building. They've got their like Shade and Silk. They've got essentially like their private stable coins. I haven't actually used it, but I've kind of looked into it, and I like what they're doing. Stride, this is a very helpful thing for the entire ecosystem, providing just more liquidity across the ecosystem, allowing users to utilize their assets while keeping things staked. I think Axelar has really been helpful in the earlier days. They've been live for what a year and a half roughly, and without them, like the initial growth of Cosmos would have been a huge struggle, I think. And there is Gravity Bridge, and but I think a lot of people gravitated towards Axelar, and Axelar has just been really tremendous, and not only like an ecosystem partner for Osmosis, but as a growth partner in terms of like making all these connections, making all these things connect to all these other ecosystems. Working with Squid, as you just used, they're essentially like two teams built into one. I think Milky Way has been fantastic as well, and also like something really fun on Osmosis is Stream Swap. Lots of projects have used Stream Swap to launch, and it's also an argument that some people make. This some projects like will say, hey, like we need funding, and people are like, go use Stream Swap. It works great. So I think those are some of my favorites. I do have to hop though, so I'll leave it at that.
Go for it. As you leave, we will use Osmosis for the audience. After you leave, though, it's booted in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah,
man. Thank you for doing. Really appreciate.
Yep.
Go hire them, Sistla. Sistla, you throwing in balloons because Aaron left. Is that the reason?
No, I don't know. I think it was a gesture.
Yeah. So Cito, what what's cooking? What's your favorite protocols right now?
Omniflex and Osmosis. No, honestly, I really like. I mean, honestly speaking, I really like them. Sistla and his team. I think they're some of the most OG and hardest working cosmonauts in the ecosystem. They're building cool stuff. And I also think this whole narrative around media, decentralized media, deepen, that's all going to come. NFTs, right? Which is all where they kind of fit in. So I think, when that comes, I want to have my Flix back secured. So Flix very bullish. Osmosis very bullish since day one. Like I said, they have a long history and took IBC to market. But yeah, also, I mean, the inner circle here that you're seeing, like all of these, I mean, most of these chains on this picture are like amazing. I think, Kujira Xterra project came back and is now killing it. Injective, some of the best BD in all crypto, I would say, onboarded a lot of institutions also. DYDX, I think everybody knows their success story. I would also point out maybe Akash Network, which is on the second ring. Akash Network is focused on cloud compute, and they're actually one of the only, I would say, one of the few, at least, non-finance related use cases of Cosmos technology. So Akash Network, also OGs, even Composable, which is on the top. They're building IBC everywhere. So basically bring IBC into Solana, into Ethereum, into Polkadot, really work on that. Chihuahua right next to it, which is the meme coin in Cosmos. And maybe I will also point out Stargaze here on the left down there. Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, the bad kids and how much they've contributed to kind of building culture, bootstrapping culture, and making it also fun. I think that's also important because Cosmos, in the end of the day, is very builders driven. It's an ecosystem of builders. So sometimes I feel like cosmonauts, they're forgetting that we're in crypto and it's all about, dogs and cats with hat, without hat, and badly drawn kids, So Stargaze is doing good. And yeah, I mean, long list, but those are some of my favorites.
Awesome. So I think we can spend another 10 minutes and then we can wrap this up. I am here. Okay, guys, I am in the ecosystem. I have some Osmo. What do I do? What all do I do? I want to do something with Omniflex.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do? That's the question. Do you want to provide liquidity? Do you want to stake?
Yeah.
Can I? Yeah, let's stake.
I think stake. You want to stake because you want to get airdrops, right?
For real.
Let's optimize for airdrops.
Yes.
How much do you have there? I don't see it. 9. Is that 9 Osmo?
Yeah, that's 9 Osmo, and my USDC is still not joined. Like, yeah, if you
Did it
if
fail, or what did it say?
yeah, it's 8 minutes more. It's saying.
Okay. Then in that case, I would say swap your Osmo for, what do you want, Atom or Tia? You can swap it for Tia.
Let's
Swap it
swap.
for Celestia.
Let's do that. Yeah, right here.
Yeah. So
Max.
do 9. Just do 9.
Mm-hmm.
Just have a clear number, because also like you always have to leave something for the fees.
Yes.
I think though, if you click on max, it will leave something for the fees. But yeah, do that. Exactly. Swap it.
Yep. Yeah, I should have gotten more.
And then if you go on your assets tab on the left,
Yep.
Deposit and withdraw basically means getting on and off the chain, the Osmosis chain, right? So
Interesting.
right now you have your TIA on the
Yeah.
Osmosis chain,
Correct.
but now you want to get your TIA on the Celestia chain and then
Correct.
stake them, right?
Correct.
So
So I need to withdraw.
Yes.
Max.
Exactly.
Withdraw TIA.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, this is awesome. This is pretty nice. Yeah. Like,
But
this.
if you do
Yeah.
this at scale, if you're doing a
Yeah.
lot of transactions, like it's actually annoying.
It's
So
annoying.
that's
Okay.
why.
Yeah.
So that's why, apps like Squid Router, or there's also ibc.fun is another one, or tfm.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can just natively swap the tokens on the native chains, and you don't always have to like manually deposit, withdraw, So that kind of makes it easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we have
Okay, so
we are
now
here.
you want to stake, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so go on your Kepler on the bar.
Yeah, Kepler. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think people can see my Kepler.
And then manage portfolio in Kepler.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of the dashboard. I think also like Kepler has a very nice kind of UI.
Amazing.
You can see your wallet, how much you have in Osmosis pools and governance proposals, like all that stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, here would tell you your TIA. If you click on stake, exactly, it will already show you TIA. You have a balance. Exactly. And now you choose your validator. Yeah, outside of the top 20, no centralized exchange. You can delegate a StakeCito. I think we're there.
That's you.
That's us, exactly. But yeah, you can also delegate. There's some great validators even further down the list. But yeah, you can delegate there, and you can see also like expected APR, which
Correct.
is after the commission. So the average is always 5% commission, not from your collateral, like not from the amount that you want to stake,
Correct. But from what you
APR.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. It will also tell you the unbonding, but yeah, exactly. Leave a little bit for gas, and then stake, and you're done.
That's it.
But I do think though that like
I'll get in more.
Less than 1 year is not going to make you eligible. So you
Yeah,
probably
I'll get 20 TIA, right?
25 to make sure. 25.
25?
25.
Got it.
I mean, the Dimension airdrop was, I think, 23. Or was it Saga? I think Saga is 23.
Okay.
So I would say at least 25.
Okay, cool. And how much for Atom?
I would say the same, like 20, 25, something like that.
25 on Omniflex, 25 on StakeCito.
Yes.
Even that.
That's the right way.
For all these details, these are the micro details that you won't be able to like if you just like.
No, later he's gonna cash out his Matic bags and go all in on Tia.
Yeah, we all chilling in India, right? Like
that's the way.
we're gonna go to Dubai, right? Like that's the meta. Kepler dashboard is underrated. Sistla, tell how much for each chain. There's a formula, right?
Cito has videos on that. So 25 Adam, 25
So
Tia.
I see, guys, I have Cito with me and Sistla with me. These both are like, smart guys. Let's try to ask them, like, guys, what is this formula you're talking about? What new airdrops we are expecting on the ecosystem? Someone who's new, like, where should we look into?
Yeah, I mean, for airdrops, I do a lot of content around airdrops, like since 2 years, pretty much. I think I
Yeah.
was actually the first one to also tease the Osmosis airdrop. Like Osmo did an airdrop when they launched as well back in the day. But yeah, like I said earlier, like set up a strategy, maybe 3 or 4 wallets. Like I'm not a fan of like overdoing it with 20, 30 wallets because it is a lot of work. Um, but right now, I think staking TIA and Atom is the best play. I would maybe add also Osmo to it and also Kuji. I think Kuji is also going to do a lot of airdrops. And then maybe even Injective and Say. Like if you want to go like all in, I think those 5, 6 coins are like they're going to give the most airdrops. And then stake at least, I mean, it's, the dollar price always changes, but stake at least, I would say $300 to $400 worth of these coins. Because what these projects want to do, they want to avoid getting flooded with micro airdrop hunters, right? They want actually users. So do a couple transactions, vote in governance. This is something most people don't care about and don't do, but at least vote once or twice. On Atom you can vote. TIA you actually can't vote because they don't have the governance module live. But Atom, Osmo, you can vote there. And yeah, use ecosystem applications. For example, like the Pyth. Remember the Pyth airdrop, which is home to Solana. If you used Levana, which is a perp stacks on Osmosis, you also got the airdrop because Levana used Pyth for the Oracle. So for being an active Levana user and not even like, being active trying to trade and time the market, just play around with the product, put $5 in, do one trade, get a feeling for it. And, people got like $2,000 worth of Pyth. So that's what I mean. Like always be active, yeah, avoid centralized exchange. Like don't even hold your coins on Binance or Kraken. I think that's a no-brainer anyways. But also when you see them in the set, don't delegate to them because you think, oh yeah, they're legit. I'm going to delegate to them because most of the airdrops exclude these validators. So you're not getting anything if you're delegated to them. So those are like golden rules for the airdrop game.
Boom. Cito's channel in 1 minute, right? Like,
That's correct.
yeah. So, I'll ask you also, Sisla, but Addy's saying Tia, Poogie, and what was the other? Osmosis?
I meant Kujira, not
Puji.
Poogie.
Yeah.
Kuji,
Yeah.
Kujira. Yeah.
I was like, yo,
Puji.
I think I missed the Puji part. Yeah, Puji penguins. Wrong chain, guys. Wrong chains.
Right.
Sisla,
So
what's your formula?
I mean, formula use the chains, understand the
Yeah.
tech, and see if you can contribute. Because for me, that has been the way we could like mine for drops or farm drops in that sense. Make sure you get involved in the communities and validators, run validators. Maybe contribute with whatever you can. Run like create content. Do breakdowns of whatever you understand. Get involved in the ecosystem and Cosmos as an ecosystem is like say in some sense smaller than some of the other ecosystems, but it's not small when it comes to the number of people involved and number of people building and contributing. It's maybe small from an exposure standpoint, or maybe lack of like marketing funds and things like that, or dedicated marketing. It's not like marketing lacks or like it's lack of funds. It's just that the direction and things like that. So quite a lot happening in the space. Get involved with multiple projects, be it a D app on a network, be it an app chain. Their app chains have ecosystems within themselves, and you can be involved in multiple. So if you build that expertise information around a specific app chain, by contributing to them, you should be able to like get involved quite a lot. Yeah, and should be able to farm as well. What about
Awesome.
running nodes as a
Yeah.
strategy?
Sito, I'd like to hear from, I mean, both of you can answer this. Sito, how many nodes are you running? And like, why?
I mean, we're running 36 or 37 on mainnet. Back when we started, it was much less competitive, so it was much easier to get started. I think for somebody who wants to start today, I would recommend to research and to look into what is a big launch that's coming up and how can I support them today. So I don't know, for example, there's a chain called Bera Chain, right? And they're launching, I think, sometime in summer, probably like in 4 to 6 months earliest. So you have 4 months now basically to say, okay, I'm going to go deep into this project. I'm going to go deep into the tech, and I'm going to try to see what can I do to add value to that project so that I can position my validator as a core contributor to that project. And then, I can apply for a foundation delegation, or I can apply for something that would get me enough delegations to be in the active set. Because if you try now to get into the active Atom set or TI set, I think the floor is like in the millions of dollars, right? So you need at least $1 million or $2 million in delegations. And it's not easy to get delegations, right? Everyone is competing for delegations. So that's the tough part. So I would rather say focus on projects that are launching in the future and see how you can add value to them, running RPC infrastructure, contributing with content, any sort of technical stuff. That's really what they want, right? And actual feedback on their testnet, on their performance. And that might help you to boost your kind of first chain. I think once you have 2 or 3 chains running, it's easier to expand from there, right? But yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Awesome. Sistla?
I mean, yeah, like bootstrapping with nodes is something that uh, we've practiced in the Cosmos ecosystem. Multiple contributors, like Osmosis in some sense is also bootstrapped like that, with Sika validator contributing to multiple chains, and then going back to building the chain. Multiple teams exist like that, and because they've all been running infra, they're now better builders in some sense, including us, Omniflex. Like we bootstrap like that. And multiple types of nodes exist, like I said, relay layers, explore the upchain, explore the project, understand, because there is Akash, there's Jackal. These are like deepen projects. Like Omniflix soon will launch our own media node, so these are competing directly with, say, LivePeer, say Theta Network or Render, right? Akash is competing in some sense with some of these as well. Jackal for storage with Arweave, Filecoin and platforms like that. So there are multiple types of nodes. So depending on your capability, your team, right? Like Cito build a team ground up. We were all engineers, but it is very important for you to have that team, and based on what you can provide, what you can contribute to, right, as a team, decide on what are the types of nodes you want to run. Do not like think that running a node is easy and running that on a laptop is easier. So just do not think about all that. You'll have to like maintain that uptime. You'll have to get serious, and if it is done seriously, only then you'll reap the rewards. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, for us, the way we do it, I was lucky that, first of all, at that time when we started, I was presenting the idea basically to 2 of my friends, and one of them is a cybersecurity specialist, so he's highly technical, and he's been running nodes for himself to like play around with it prior to that. So the timing was just perfect. But yeah, like Sistla is saying, you really need technical expertise. Unfortunately, you can't just like run it yourself. You really need to know what you're doing, because it's also very, very sensitive. And in Cosmos, a lot of chains have slashing parameters, which means that you and your delegators, so if anybody delegates to you, then they will also get slashed. So they would lose their collateral, part of their collateral. I think it's always like 0.5%. It's not like 20%, but still it is very sensitive and very risky. So That's the yeah. And I also saw Chris was asking 2 million floor in delegations. I was wrong, because on Celestia the floor is 360,000 TIA, and at the current price of $20, I don't know. You do the math on that. That's 7 point something million, right? That's
Bruh.
crazy.
Yeah.
Bruh.
That's yeah. That's TIA. So yeah.
Awesome, guys. I don't have any more questions. But Sistla, um, anything, like there was something you wanted to show the users, right? Let's get into that, and then we can go on the closing comments.
Sure. Just Dheeraj, like if you can open your computer screen and
Okay,
show
just give me a
Osmosis.
second.
Yeah. Can you do that?
Yeah. Give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, where
Sure.
do you want me to go?
Osmosis. Just share your
Okay.
screen and
Yeah.
I'll show you what I'm talking about step by step.
Yes.
So, guys, what we're
I
trying to
really
do,
hope he's not trying to drain me, guys. Let's let's
not on
hope that's
not
not
on
the
like
case.
live, not on a YouTube live, uh, really not. But
Yeah.
yeah. Now, just click on the top right corner of your profile. Send me your account address, Osmosis account address
Yes.
here in the chat. Yeah, just copy that. Right, you now have like 0.43 Osmo at this point in time. Let me initiate the transaction. I am doing that right away.
Okay.
3, 2, and 1. Low transaction fees. So let's see how that goes.
Okay.
And yeah, my transaction is completed. So
Okay.
maybe Dheeraj, do you
Yeah.
need to?
It's here. It's here.
Yeah.
It's here. It's here.
So that is how fast things work in the Cosmos. So this is 1.1, right? Like this is how a native transfer happened. Okay, going
Good.
to step 2, right? Like let's
Yeah.
swap this for Flix, right?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Let's swap this for Flix. So again, please look at the speed. Like for those of you that are, of course, joining us from other
Yeah.
ecosystems, take a quick look at the nature of transactions, like what we're doing and how fast they execute. So yeah, you can go swap it for
So
Flix.
I'm
Maybe
gonna do 20, 20 Osmo and Flix, and let's, yeah, 3, 2, 1, swap.
swap,
I
right?
am hitting the approve now.
Yeah,
Approve.
right.
It's with,
And
yeah.
3,
Soon
4,
one
5.
Osmo, one Flix.
100. Oh, it's done. It's done. It's done.
Right. So in
It's done.
about 6-7 seconds, you got a confirmation on the UI, which means that all the communication happened. Now, Dheeraj, please go to assets. Right.
Assets. Yeah. Here.
Right.
Yeah. Here.
Now let's first go to see that. Now we see that you have Flix over here.
Yeah.
Dheeraj, now let's go to 2 apps. Omniflex.market, for someone that is like an enthusiast with respect to NFTs, and Omniflex.tv. Right. Don't leave the site. Maybe in a new tab, Dheeraj.
Okay. Yeah.
In a new tab,
Omniflex dot.
Omniflex.market. Yeah, market.
Yeah.
Market and Omniflex.tv.
Guys, also quick recommendation: don't Google any of these addresses. Just type it as you see. Otherwise, like there's a chance that you get hacked. Right? Like go to like their Twitter and find the link tree and like do all that, but like don't Google it. Yeah. Amarnath is saying this is as fast as UPI. And
Yeah.
Amarnath is saying Dheeraj is buying Abhishek's bags, but he sent me the money, right? Like, so it's not like he's giving me his bags. Yeah.
With
So yeah, let's connect the wallet.
with Sistla. Yes. Right. Now, as we can see, we have like 0 Flix over here. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Click on that 0 Flix,
yeah.
Dheeraj.
Yeah.
You should be able to like check that you do not have any asset over here right now.
Correct.
Let's go to
Correct.
Osmosis back and click on withdraw. You can do it
Yeah.
from here also, but let's go to Osmosis, click on withdraw, right?
Yeah.
And now what is happening, just understand what is happening. From one blockchain, the Osmosis blockchain, Flix tokens are going to the Omniflix blockchain. And guys, take a quick look at how fast all of this will be. Yeah, Dheeraj,
Yeah.
maybe you can
Yeah.
go ahead with withdraw.
3, 2, 1, approve, and like it's 1 cent fee.
Yeah, I think you didn't even adjust any gas fees or anything, right? Like
No,
average.
just yeah, bro. Yeah.
and it is done, right?
Yeah.
And now let's, of course, like maybe you need to refresh over here
Okay.
quickly. Let's see. Uh, tu- 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 tu-
Yeah.
tu.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how fast bridging works. That is the power of IBC, right? Like that is IBC in action. Now imagine this, compare this to any Ethereum EVM bridge which routes fungible tokens across. Like this is a functioning at a protocol level, and 100% every cosmonaut, like people in the Cosmos ecosystem, they're proud. And as soon as you use this, Dheeraj, it is very
Yeah.
difficult to go back to utilizing other bridges. So your intuition changes, the speed, the rate at which all of this works, they all change, right? So
Yeah.
you can see why I'm like very excited
Yeah.
for this to
Yeah.
be shown, right? And
No, no,
just to any
this was
thoughts,
awesome. This
right?
was
Like,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
Dheeraj, like, what are your thoughts on this?
This is pretty cool, man. The thing is, it's two different blockchains. That is what is even more interesting. Like it's like using Binance to,
Mm,
like, send it across different wallets or something like
yeah,
that,
it's like
right?
using Osmosis is almost as easy as that, right? Like deposit, withdraw. People
Yeah,
are familiar with the terminology, maybe not with what is happening in the back end. So we intend to like abstract away all of this, right? So
yeah.
maybe Dheeraj, you want to go to Marketplace or go to Omniflex TV. I'll show you something else.
Omniflex.
Marketplace, maybe all of you can like take a quick look at it. It's the usual NFT marketplace. Buying and selling NFTs. They happen in a jiffy. Like how fast swaps happened on Osmosis. That's how fast this happens as well. And yeah, this is a flagship media publishing platform. Dheeraj, the interesting part here is you can tip creators in the
Yeah,
Flix token and also using IBC. So let's go to the first video. Any video that you see, right? Yeah, this is a video by our community subDAO. So yeah, they have like quite the claim process. You can go ahead, click connect, right? And you have what is a tip, IBC tip, because you already have Flix here. Maybe you can like enter yes and
yes.
go ahead,
Yep.
and that's about it, right? Like all transactions happen at this pace, right? Like you're used to that 5-10 second finality of
Yeah.
sorts, right? And everything that you do within the space is as seamless as it can get. Of course, the UX takes a bit of time for people to understand, but the thing is that people that are already familiar with EVM and anything around that, people who already use Solana, I think they'll appreciate this UX in terms of how fast and composable it is.
Yeah, but like even like just using Solana is like just the blockchain itself, right? Here, the better example is me trying to move my money from Optimism to Arbitrum and
Yeah,
then trying to buy something. That's a whole different
that's
experience, right? Like the speed is incredible, right? Like
yeah,
so that's pretty cool. And you don't even like need to know what's happening in the backend. I think your website UI UX is probably slower than the transaction
exactly.
speed
Exactly.
of, because like when you see in Kepler wallet it's already updated, right? But
Yeah.
like we had to refresh the page, so that might
Refresh
have
the
added 2 seconds. That is
yeah,
crazy. Like that is
yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
very nice.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sito. Thank you, Sistla, for doing this. Go and follow these guys on Twitter, YouTube. Sistla, amazing guy. Taught me a lot, like even before the call. Sito, pretty crazy content. Like this guy is machine, right? Like I keep, like since I started watching, like I keep getting like 2 videos, 3 videos. I don't know, man, like how much he's producing. I don't know how many videos you're making, man, but really appreciate all the hustle you're putting in. And I think you've been doing it for a very long time. So, yeah. And follow me as well. Even though Amar said follow him. Yeah, you can go follow Amar. Follow me. And thank you guys. Really appreciate follow Aaron as well. Thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Had
This was
fun.
good.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Dheeraj, for having us covering the Cosmos ecosystem and introducing the ecosystem to folks in India and your community.
Yes.
Looking forward to more of these. Thank you.
Awesome. So guys, like I mean, not big numbers, but peak was 50 people watching together, and I think we have had around 10 people continuously, 10 20 people continuously watching the entire stream. So yeah, and thank you so much,
Holy
right?
shit.
Like, good chat. Florian says get Cito to 100K now, and I agree.
Subscribe.
On it. Thank you, man.
Take care, everyone.
Guys, I'm just gonna end
Take
the
care.
stream. Yes, ended.